What up, everybody? It's Ipadbeatmaking.com here today on November 13th, 2020, giving you some news you can use. Now, before we begin, please be sure to hit the like button if you enjoy this video, as well as that subscribe button and the notification bell if you aren't currently subscribed, so that you don't miss out on the latest news, apps, sales, tips, tricks, beats, and more. Now, on Tuesday, November 10th, Apple had its One More Thing event, and while we didn't get the rumored AirPod Studio, we did get an event where Apple unveiled a new Apple-designed computer chip and a new MacBook Air, Mac Mini, and MacBook Pro. Their new chip is called M1, and the M1 chip sports an 8-core CPU, 4 of which are efficient cores and 4 of which are performance cores, and an 8-core GPU, and a 20-hour battery life within its MacBook line. Now, this blows past all expectations for power and for performance. Now, what makes this new chip and the new Macs using it so fascinating is that they will now be able to run iPhone and iPad apps natively. Now, this raises a lot of questions, such as, will app developers raise their prices now that they have a Mac audience who are used to paying literally 5 to 10 times as much for apps, now that they'll have access to those iOS apps on Mac? And what does this mean for app developers such as FabFilter, whose desktop and iOS offerings are pretty much one-to-one, except the fact that the price is extremely different? The same could be said about many other apps as well. Now, this is a very unique scenario that has never really occurred before, but one thing that we have heard is that companies are automatically opted into this system and must manually opt out if they don't want to join it. We predict that quite a few companies will take that approach for the time being until they 1. Get the newest Macs in their hands, and 2. The dust settles on this transition and things become a little bit more clear about the marketplace, app compatibility, etc. Now, the natural thought we have when we process all this information is that Apple will at some point launch a touchscreen Mac, but according to a Mac Rumors article, an Apple exec has said they have no plans to do so. So what are your thoughts on this new M1 chip? Will you be grabbing a Mac that has one? What do you think the future holds for iOS? Will developers lose motivation for continuing to develop pro music apps for iOS due to this announcement? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Now, AudioKit Pro has finally brought us their long-awaited 909 app, and the reviews so far have been great. Now, here's an overview of the app description in the App Store. It's inspired by dusty old circuits from 1983, sounds analog and alive, tired of the same old 909 kick and snare samples. Create your own sound, your own beat, your own vibe. Synth-based drum creation, AUV3, use as plugin in GarageBand, AUM, Cubasis 3, Beatmaker 3, etc. Easy to use controls, create your own sound, live tweaks, exclusive special sauce, vibe it out, tweak the knobs. This is a drum machine that is meant to be played. Switch patterns on screen or with MIDI to create new creations on the fly for live performance or songwriting. It's like getting an expensive piece of vintage hardware on your iPhone or iPad. Small and mighty, entire app is less than 20 megabytes on most devices. Now, this looks absolutely incredible. We've tried it out, we love it. It's only $2.99 and it's part of their limited edition line of apps, so if that interests you, be sure to check that out and grab it. You can't go wrong. Now, in a trend that's becoming more common on iOS, Jakob Haq, who is a well-known iOS producer from Sweden, has collaborated with Kai Aras on a new app called Agonizer. Now, the first impressions of this app are really cool, and I recommend you check out Jakob Haq's YouTube channel where he walks you through all the different things that the app can do. He does a great job introducing you to it, but I'm just going to read the description for you so that you can get a better idea of what the app can do. Agonizer is a monophonic synthesizer designed in collaboration with YouTuber and synth-based expert Jakob Haq of HaQ AttaQ. Monophonic synth engine with focus on bass, built-in stereo effects, 140 plus fine-tuned factory presets designed by Jakob Haq, supports Rolly Seaboard and other MPE controllers out of the box, standalone operation with support for USB audio interfaces, wired, network, and Bluetooth MIDI, AUV3 extension, inter-app audio support, audio bus support, Ableton Link, dual wavetable oscillators with 40 plus wavetables, morphing and Xmod, dedicated sub, OSC and noise source, Mango section with pre-filtered drive, bit crush, lift and push controls, VA ladder filter, wobulator, highly tweakable sequenced LFO, LFO with key and BPM sync, variable slope, AD and ADSR envelopes, 2 bass master drive, 2x stereo effect units, vintage course, digital delay, factory bank including 140 plus presets designed by Jakob Haq, preset management with templates and categories, shared user presets between standalone and AEV3 versions, preset export and import. Definitely looks pretty cool. Glad to see another iOS musician get an app. It's definitely a beautiful thing for the community as a whole. Be sure to grab this at 50% off as soon as possible if it interests you. And like I said, be sure to check out Jakob Haq's YouTube channel so you can get a better understanding of that app. And he's got some awesome videos over there in general that are definitely helpful for you iOS musicians. Now, let's move on to updates. AudioBus has been updated, quote, fixed an issue with AudioBus remote connections, added AirPlay output support. Block Dashboard has, quote, added beta support for Lumi keys. Note that some features might not work as expected. Roland Zenbeats has been updated with bug fixes and enhancements. The Tone Booster suite of plugins has been updated with stability and efficiency improvements. Dramble has gotten a huge, very much anticipated update, Waves extension and app purchase, an ultra clean wavetable oscillator featuring modular wavetable manipulation, support for Serum wavetable format, 2 additional modules for wavetable processing, wave effect and wave filter, includes 42 wavetables and a waves kite, a new instrument rack bank, new shortcuts, undo plus pad to clear track, undo plus scene to clear scene, undo plus pattern to clear the pattern, course module mix param is modulatable now, added a gate counter modulator module, added layers module with separate outputs, graphic shaper, sustain, and tempo sync added. You may change presets with arrow buttons when rack view is in compact mode. Flexi sampler, added transport and pattern launch modes. Playback is not stopped during overdubbing. LFO added progressive sync mode, bug fixes, and stability improvements. Now, AudioShare has been updated for iOS 14, file provider plugin, fixed handling of directories with many files. Decent Samples has been updated to add support for sample panning, fixed a bug that was preventing sample tuning from working correctly. MIDI mod has been updated. New connections view allows you to configure all your app and hardware devices in one place. Removed all MIDI device configuration settings from the main settings screen. Removed device setting from the ARP screen. These are now configured in the connections view. Fixed incoming and outgoing MIDI sync clock. Incoming MIDI processing improvements. Support for receiving MIDI on all channels. Omni, MIDI through support. Sound fonts has been updated. Fixed pitch bend values. Improved MIDI messaging, parsing, and reliability. New Rack AEV3 effects processor has been updated, fixed an issue with the MIDI mixer restore button not working in interface builder mode, added a new dump button in the MIDI recorder that allows you to dump the selected record buffer in real time, minor fixes and improvements. Now iMPC2 Pro has been updated, fixed crash when initiating audio units on iOS 14, fixed instability when undoing sound editor operations or deleting handles in the middle of a live edit, amplify, fade, in or out, etc. Fixed distorted monitoring of mono input sources on audio tracks. Fixed crash when rapid MIDI events come in during project close. Fixed incorrect loop points when dragging 48 kHz samples from pad to pad. Fixed invisible text and audio copy dialog when in dark mode. Fixed scrolling in tracks view for newer devices. Fixed solo behavior when deleting a solo track. Fixed crash when canceling out of a mixdown at very end. Fixed sound editor waveform display for wider devices. Fixed sound library crash when browsing into my projects after a sound a project uses has been deleted. Now the newly released app by Sugar Bytes Drum Computer, which is for iPad, has recently been updated already, and that fixes a crash when sending MIDI out in iPadOS 14.2, improved preset handling and performance, and Ableton Link support for iPadOS 14. As always, it's great news to see apps get those updates. Now it's time for our Ipadbeatmaking.com app of the week. And our app of the week this week is Cubasis 3. Now, if you're coming from desktop and looking for the DAW that will be the most comfortable for your workflow, look no further than Cubasis 3. It's without question the most supported, most feature-rich, easiest to use and understand pro-level DAW on iOS, and it's not even close. While other DAWs tend to do specialized things that work for certain people and not all people, Cubasis 3 is the opposite. The way it does nearly all things makes sense. Jumping into iOS was very difficult for us early on, but thankfully Cubasis was there to give us an easy transition. No matter what DAW we start making a beat in, when we're ready to do vocal recording, all roads lead to Cubasis 3. It has an adjustable mixer, proper busing or what it calls groups, which is incredible because it allows you to funnel multiple tracks through it and apply your preferred plugins to them without needing to use a plugin on each individual track. Now this is invaluable for saving your iDevice resources. And speaking of saving resources, you are able to freeze tracks effortlessly, instantly freeing up the DSP they once consumed on your iDevice. The pads in the mixer are adjustable. I could go on and on, but seriously, Cubasis 3 is our well-deserved app of the week for this week. Be sure to check it out if you haven't. It's definitely worth it. We love it. You just can't go wrong with Cubasis 3. Now it's time to move on to sales. And this week we have Wavestorm, which is usually $9.99 down to $7.99. Next up we got Vocal Soloist AUV3 plugin, which is usually $6.99 down to $5.99. And we've got Block Dashboard, which was recently updated. Now this price, which is usually $3.99, is down to 99 cents. Audio Shredder AUV3 plugin, which is usually $4.99, is down to $3.99. And that's all we got for sales right now. If we missed one, please let us know either in the comment section or at ipadbeatmaking@gmail.com. And with that said, we're gonna get up out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, and if you aren't currently subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on the latest news, sales, updates, tips, tricks, beats, etc., etc. And be sure to check out some of the best sound kits for iOS at ipadbeatmaking.com. It's ipadbeatmaking.com. Peace.